Coming up on today's episode of Airborne Affordable Flyers, Lockwood's RV916 is a stunning development program. FAA issues NPRM updating sport pilot test standards. Van's RV-12 reportedly stolen in Washington. And I'm your host, Holland Lee. Welcome to Airborne Affordable Flyers, our programming designed to help you get and stay in aviation as affordably as possible. Overseen by the editorial staff of the award-winning Sport Plane Resource Guide, we know well the challenges faced by today's sport flyers, and we are here to help you enjoy flying to the utmost. Let's get into today's stories. Lockwood's RV916 is a stunning development program. ANN's chief test pilot Jim Campbell ambled down to Sebring a few days back in order to finally get his hands on Phil Lockwood's radically upgraded RV9A, equipped with the latest Rotax 916 IS. We'll have a lot to say in the coming weeks, but Jim wanted to emphasize that this project is far more than slapping a new engine onto an already established airframe. In order to properly adapt the 160 horsepower Rotax 916 IS engine, the motor mount had to be extended a good deal due to the lighter weight of the power plant. A specialized cowling had to be built around it, and in flight testing, they found that while the airplane flew reasonably well, a number of airframe upgrades were required to adapt the aircraft to meet the stability and control properties they were looking for. The result is stunning and can serve as a prototype for a true Mosaic-class production aircraft for the near future. For now, if you have an RV9 or are building one, the entire conversion package is $120,000, but that's the whole kit and caboodle. Engine, CS prop, required systems, airframe modifications including a dorsal fin, with the result being one of the finest flying RVs that Jim has sampled yet, and a conversion that takes the RV9 from a cool little two-place cross-country bird into a real performer. More info, including flight test results, coming up in part 2, but so far we like what we see. After the break, Van sends off first RV-15 kits.
Well, hello, fellow pilot. I'm John King.
And I'm Martha King.
You know, we've all had our flying lives disrupted lately.
Well, King Schools is here to help you stay up to date with courses that you can access on your desktop, iPad, or iPhone. If you'd like a refresher or just want to expand your aviation horizons, we have a course for you.
So head over to kingschools.com/rusty today for details.
Welcome back. Now let's take a trip around the patch for some shorter stories. Van sends off first RV-15 kits. Van's aircraft checked off a major milestone just before the holidays, shipping the first 2 RV-15 wing kits to customers on December 23rd. Wing kit production continues to blaze on, followed by a ramp-up in deliveries in January. The first kit went to Kevin Eldridge, a well-known Reno racer who was first in line to place a deposit when RV-15 wing kit sales opened at AirVenture 2025. Eldridge picked up the kit directly from the factory. Tucson pilot building foot-controlled airplane. Tucson pilot Jessica Cox, who was born without arms, is now leading a team to build a custom Vans RV-10 to be flown using only foot controls. Cox began a mission in 2020 to build what she calls the impossible airplane, the first aircraft in aviation history designed to be flown entirely without the use of hands. The plane is expected to make its first test flight in the summer of 2026. Cox, a pilot and motivational speaker, started flying using her feet in a 1946 Air Coupe, but the 80-year-old plane had limitations. Velocitor X1 opens its pre-order books. VeloX has officially opened reservations for its Velocitor X1, a single-seat electric vertical takeoff and landing aircraft, certified under the FAA's new Mosaic Light Sport framework. Nearly 40 early production slots for the initial 2027 run have been filled, ahead of a key year for certification progress, testing, and final manufacturing prep. The Velocitor X1 is aimed at personal, point-to-point flight rather than luxury urban air taxi operations. Cruise speed is listed at 70 miles per hour. High school sophomore earns glider pilot license. A teen in Maryland has become one of the youngest glider pilots in the United States. Caleb Smith, a sophomore at Charles H. Flowers High School in Prince George's County, who won a scholarship for gliding school this past spring, has achieved his first solo flight after 33 flights. He has now flown 12 solo flights, passed his written exam with the FAA, and obtained his glider pilot's license. The FAA reportedly confirmed that Caleb's age makes him the youngest private glider pilot in the U.S. That's it for today's Trip Around the Patch. Let's get back to the rest of the news. FAA issues NPRM updating sport pilot test standards. The FAA has issued an NPRM that would bring sport pilot practical test standards into alignment with the newly adopted regulatory requirements as specified in the Mosaic Final Rule related to certification of sport pilots and operation of light sport category aircraft, and also update the PTS to improve the certification standard materials. The full text of the proposed rule and other pertinent information is available on the Federal Register website. The proposed updates are intended to address differences and conflicts in the current language of 3 PTS related to sport pilot certification and the newly enacted Mosaic Rule. The updates would align the language that identifies which aircraft can be used to satisfy practical test and proficiency check requirements under Part 61 with the new limits specified in Mosaic. The Mosaic Final Rule removes the term light sport aircraft and replaces it with separate eligibility criteria for certification of future light sport category aircraft and sport pilots. It also requires sport pilots and instructors with a sport pilot rating who wish to add an airplane or helicopter privilege to their certificate to accomplish a practical test under Section 61.307 and 61.405. The regulatory changes required an updated sport pilot PTS to prevent an inadvertent conflict between the regulations and standards in the PTS. After these messages, Van's RV-12 reportedly stolen in Washington.
For over 30 years, the massive Sport Plane Resource Guide has provided expert, credible information, evaluations, and critical analysis of all that the sport aviation world has to offer. The all-new digital Sport Plane Resource Guide is coming with extensive multimedia features that are constantly updated, an even more comprehensive online guide to all things sport aviation. Available soon. www.sportplane.com.
Direct Fly USA proudly introduces the new Alto NG, a single-engine, two-seat light sport aircraft for the North American market. This simple, all-metal aircraft design provides low-maintenance cost, easy, comfortable access, and responsive flight controls. Equipped with the Rotax 912 engine and a ballistic parachute, the Alto NG is reliable and safe. Learn more about the Alto NG at directflyusa.com.
Welcome back. Van's RV-12 reportedly stolen in Washington. It's an aircraft owner's worst nightmare. A 2020 model Van's RV-12 was reportedly stolen from its hangar at Auburn Municipal Airport in Auburn, Washington on January 3, 2026. The owner discovered the aircraft was missing on January 5th. The plane is registered as November 107 Tango Foxtrot and is described as unpainted silver, bare aluminum. It features a prominent circular sticker on the tail that reads Teen Flight. Approximately 2 minutes after takeoff, the felonious pilot manually turned off the transponder, preventing ATC radar tracking. There have been some reports the plane was headed east. The 2-seat aircraft is currently listed as stolen in the National Crime Information Center database. Law enforcement and local pilots are actively monitoring regional airstrips and private hangars for the unpainted aircraft. Strangely enough, a different stolen aircraft, snatched from California, showed up at Auburn right after Christmas. If you believe you've spotted the plane, you are urged to contact local authorities or the Auburn Police Department at auburnwa.gov. And that's our show for today. You can catch episodes of Airborne on YouTube, Roku, or Fire TV. Just search for Aero-News or Airborne. And don't forget to follow us on social media. Thanks for watching.